Hey, you know who's talking right now? Michael Yo.
Hey, what's going on?
So you said you were going to be in town, so I said, come on down and be my co-host.
I didn't actually read your text, but I showed up and I'm a co-host. So yeah, let's do this.
I'm so excited because you actually have already talked to our guest today.
Amazing.
Yeah, in the
I
past.
love them.
We are so excited. So let's tease this.
Yeah.
So we're going from the video games to the podcast. True crime podcasts, we know, have been really, really popular over the years. But with more than 45 million downloads to date, one seems to stand out above the rest. Take a look.
Kimberly Compton had just graduated from high school. She was from Pepin, Wisconsin, about 80 miles south of St. Paul. Got on a Greyhound bus, had just arrived at the bus depot.
The first day of the rest of her life.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what it was. She went across the street for breakfast and unfortunately ended up sitting next to Paul Stefani at the counter. And they started talking, and she said she was just brand new to the city. And Stefani offered to show her around St. Paul and give her a tour. And later on, he admitted that 15 minutes later, she was dead.
Okay,
Oh,
so
wow.
joining me right now, Yeardley Smith and Detective Dan, co-hosts and producers of the podcast, and Michael Yo here as well. You guys all know each other.
We do. Michael's interviewed me many times. Before now he's mega. This
Oh,
was
yeah.
when he was
Oh, yeah. Let me
a
tell you.
little more medium-sized.
Is he putting on the "I'm too cool for you" vibes?
No,
I'm just
no,
I'm
he's
totally
lovely as
teasing.
pie.
I'm totally teasing. You're not the only one that can poke fun at people.
I know. No, I like I said, I've gone back with her, and it's so great to see her and doing big things. So I'm still proud.
I'm proud to see you.
Thank you so much.
So much love here. Okay, so I have to admit, when my producer came to me and said, you're going to do this interview, and she told me the name,
Yeah.
my mind went elsewhere. So let's talk about the name of the podcast. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let you guys say it, and then explain to me why the name.
Well, this is Detective Dan. He also happens to be my husband, but he's a co-host along with his twin brother on the podcast. And Dan came up with the name.
So Dan, tell me about the name.
It was a joke, honestly, it was a joke. I was just throwing it out there, and it stuck. It's Small Town Dicks. Dicks referring to the noir slang for detectives. And my brother and I, David, we worked in a small town, so perfect synergy there.
But also, when we started the podcast, I think we thought, like, well, our moms will listen, and like 15 more people.
Yeah.
Right? And now here we are with over 50 million downloads, and like, oh, and now we're stuck with the name. So.
Well, I think the name is, it catches your attention.
It sure does.
Yes.
You don't know
really
what it
does.
is until you listen to it. That's what's great about it. You know
That's
what I mean?
true.
Very true.
All of the cases are told by the detectives who investigated them, which really set us apart when we first came online in 2016?
2017.
2017. We're 13 seasons in. We do 2 seasons
Crazy.
a year. And it really was Dan and Dave's brainchild, to be honest. When I first started dating Dan, I would go over to his house. His brother would come over. They would just talk about their week, and it was jaw-dropping. And so this idea for a podcast came up, and it was clear that it had to come from them.
Yes.
And I would be you. If you had the privilege to sit at that table and ask any question you wanted, that was my job.
Well,
That is so cool.
I have a question, and this is something personal. Why are people so fascinated with true crime? Because to me, I'm scared to listen to it a lot of the time. Because I get scared listening to what people can actually do, but people are fascinated by it. Why is that, you think? And you being in the field, why is that?
I wish I had the answer. I think that people want to know that there's a force out there of good to right the wrongs that are happening in the world. And I think people want to know about these crazy things that happen in the world, to what humans do to other human beings, and that that they can feel safe, that there are people out there that are going to right that wrong.
That is so interesting. I'm with you. I feel like every time I listen, I get a little paranoid. But now that you put it in that perspective, it gives it a new light, right? I do want to talk about your history. So obviously, you're the voice of Lisa Simpson.
Best job in the world.
There's
Yes.
there's a big difference between doing that and doing this. And you guys are married.
Yeah.
So tell me about life at home, and then dealing with this true crime podcast, which is doing phenomenally everywhere. How do you balance it all?
You know, it's tricky, I will say. Working with your spouse is complicated, especially if you're the boss. Like, it's my company that I co-founded that produces the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We're independently owned, which is also unusual in this landscape. And so, you know, Dan's actually not an employee of the company, but I still have to tell him what to do, a little, like pickups and things.
Of course.
So, and he's
I love his face.
I know.
It's just like being married, right? Your wife tells you what to do.
And you do it.
I do.
And you say yes.
Happy wife, happy life.
Boom.
Oh, sweet.
Bam. Wait, before you guys go, because we ran out of time already, you have another podcast.
I do. It's called The Briefing Room. It's my brother and I. My brother Dave, he's identical twin brother. And it's an offshoot from Small Town Dicks. It was basically, we saw a space out there that I think Small Town Dicks is really case oriented. Mm-hmm. The Briefing Room is more talking about the gears of justice and all the different things that have to happen for a case to come together. We talk to medical examiners, we talk to child advocates, we talk to cold case investigators. And I think it gives you a kind of a behind the scenes look of what law enforcement deals with every day.
So interesting. Well, thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having
How did you guys
us.
meet, by the way?
Oh, it's a great story.
Can you summarize it in 15 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was a last-minute replacement at a Simpsons event out of town. I said, it was a tiny town. I said, what kind of security do you have? And they're like, hold please. And they go away and come back a few days later, and they said, we're going to assign you a plainclothes detective from the police department. And that was Dan.
Oh my
The
gosh,
bodyguard.
you
It was a
guys.
bodyguard
I'm not kidding. It told me
situation.
that.
Oh my God.
You guys should do a true love podcast.
Yeah, and it's my third marriage and his first, so
There you
I hope
go.
it works
You.
out for him.
On that note, thank you both for being here and congratulations on the success.
Thank you.
13 seasons, that's incredible. We're going to put all this up on our website, kcalnews.com/themorningwrap, so you can check it out, listen to it, and, you know, live through them. This is great.